Hey guys,
Hey.
I'm not as good at this as April, so just subscribe. You know what I'm saying? She has all these reasons and it sounds so good and everything like that. But bottom line for me is subscribe, especially if you're new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And check us out.
Live from Washington, D.C., you are listening to Just John and April on the Lance J Radio Network.
Just between you and me, there's a line, there's no tricks, ooh, there's a love.
Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place to level up your intimacy.
Yeah, it is.
Welcome, guys. So glad you are here with us on the Lance J Radio Network. And I'm excited about talking to you again, babe.
I like talking to you.
Yeah, I think your mic thing came off.
What mic thing?
This.
Let me see.
Look,
I mean, it's just sitting up some, but what's wrong with this?
I don't know. Get it together over there
It's
now.
weird. I don't know why I did it. It didn't change the way the mic sounds or anything.
It
you know what I'm
did,
saying?
but it was looking weird.
Yeah, it looked weird. And it was all on camera and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really want to talk to you about something that I'm always reading articles.
Yes.
I'm always reading stuff.
I'll be sending you articles.
You
that I
do.
think
You
you'll
send me
like.
articles. You do. I love that. Because, man, when you send me like 4 and 5 articles, I'll be like, yes. I be running through them things. Sometimes I'll read them backwards. Like I'll read at the end first and
really?
go up. I don't know why I do that, but it's so fun to me. But anyway, I was reading this article and just talking about this woman whose friend's husband began to DM her, right? Okay, they're friends, right, y'all? They go out together, they have fun together and everything. And so the three of them are friends.
Okay.
And he started DMing her, and she said at first it was like, oh, this is cool, no big deal, we're friends. And he's just sending little things, talking about little stuff. And then he began it like changed to flirting. And so he was like saying, asking her what she's wearing.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, to me, that's huge.
That's definitely inappropriate.
That's very inappropriate.
Yeah.
So she felt really, uncomfortable. Then he would tell her she's gorgeous, or he really wanted her to be with him.
Like, I want you to be with me right now.
Yeah.
Wish we could be
And
together.
so,
Wow.
that's a little, I don't know. It's like, man, if I was the friend, I'd be like, why would you think that you felt like I was someone you could do that to? You could say these things to, and I would respond in kind. Like,
Yeah.
why would you think I would? What did
Right,
I give
right,
off? You
right,
know?
right.
But she did say she felt like he had a little crush on her. But she said she just thought it was just a,
Innocent, no big deal.
yeah,
thing.
like you're cute
Yeah,
type
yeah, yeah,
crush.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
right.
oh, she's cute.
Right.
That kind of thing. But then he went on and pushed up on that. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, the question was from her, should she tell her friend? So that's what I want to know from you. Just, would you say that this girl should tell her friend that her husband is flirting with her on Facebook?
Okay, so before I answer the question, first of all, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But I have a few reasons. So the first thing is, obviously she's married, and I feel like this is really a respect issue. I feel like the husband is disrespecting his marriage, and I feel like if you and I are friends, and I'm really your friend, then this is a big deal, and I need to tell you about it. Now, I think the reason why she is even asking the question is because maybe she's a little bit nervous that this will change her relationship with her friend.
Yeah, maybe her friend will be mad at her or
Yes.
something like that.
And maybe
Yeah.
she'll say what you just said, which is, well, what did you do to make my husband think that he could push up
do
on you
that.
like that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? What are y'all doing?
I didn't think about that.
And
You're right.
And I think there was a natural thing that we do that when we're together, we want us to be good. If somebody else on the outside says something is going on, my first inclination is to blame that person because I want us to be good.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that my husband is now doing this or my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want it to be that this person is pushing up or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably what she's worried about.
Right.
But what I think the bigger worry is, and I think what's more important in the situation is, if these are on his device, whether it's his phone or his iPad or his laptop that he's basically messaging this woman on, there's a potential that his wife is going to find that anyway. If she finds
if she finds it,
and you as the friend never said anything about it,
it's
now
over.
what?
It's over.
There's no question your relationship.
No.
So your relationship could survive, I think, if you told her about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's surviving if she finds out later and you didn't tell her. Now
it
she's
would
going to
not.
say, well, what were you hiding?
Yes.
Well, clearly you had something to hide.
Yeah.
So it's about how she says it, in my opinion, but she definitely has to tell her.
Yeah.
She has to tell her friend. And I think she's got to be willing to say, dang, this might jack up our relationship. And if it does, it does, because I think the alternative is worse.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I'm
I think
saying?
you made a good point. It really is a respect issue because he's not respecting his wife.
Right.
He's not his marriage. He's not respecting her
Yep.
as the friend.
Yes.
And she had a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend too. That's right. Yeah.
She has a boyfriend.
Right.
And so, you
And
know.
you didn't mention that at the beginning, right? Because the three of them would go out together.
Yeah,
it
but I
almost
think
suggests
they
that
were-
she was single and alone. But
She
she's
was
actually,
with them.
actually has a
She was
boyfriend.
friends with them. I don't
Right.
think they went out with the boyfriend necessarily. I'm not
Right.
sure, but I know it just said later
Right.
that the boyfriend.
Yes.
you
He
know,
started having feelings about it, wondering, well, is this inappropriate or appropriate for them to actually be texting each other like
Yeah,
that?
and so even
Or
if the
messaging each
boyfriend is
other.
starting it,
Yeah.
that's disrespectful to a lot of people.
Yes.
So let's just talk about this idea of respect.
Yes.
Because that is something we hear. I mean, that's something that's talked about all the time in relationships. When it
Yes.
comes to relationships, men and women together, whatever, it's about respect.
Yes.
And the importance of respect. And we hear a lot of respect being important to men.
We do. And in fact, I think early on, especially when we first started doing premarital counseling and all kind of stuff in the early 2000s, we would find ourselves saying that respect is a thing that men need. And the way that we said it, and the way that I hear people saying it now, almost
that
suggests that
women
don't need it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm not
That
sure where that
is.
came from,
Yeah.
but I think that anything that is a thing, like a cliche, a saying, something that you say all the time, I think it's a thing for a reason. So I would say that maybe there is something to the idea that men need respect, and maybe it's somehow different than what the women need. I don't know, but I have heard it a lot, and of course we've said it before. You'll see in the second part of this episode how we've kind of changed that particular thing. We have changed our focus, and we now adopt this idea that men and women aren't as different as you think.
Right. Really.
You know what I'm saying? We need the same stuff.
It may look different.
Sometimes it looks a little different.
It looks a little different, and it
Yes.
plays out a little different.
Yes, but I think it's the
But
same
we're
thing.
not that different.
Right, exactly.
We're starting to
we need the
realize
same
that
stuff.
in our years of studying marriage and relationships,
right.
that we really need the same stuff.
Yes, but here's the thing
just
that I
looks
think
different.
Let's
It
talk.
acts different.
Let's talk about the men first, because here's the thing I think a man actually needs. Because I think when the word respect comes to mind, women at least think of it in terms of disrespect. Meaning, I don't want to disrespect my man. And so there's certain things that maybe a wife would say she wants to do or not do. Maybe things she wants to avoid because she doesn't ever want to be disrespectful to her man. That seems to be the perspective that wives have when they think about respect.
Yeah, but I have heard a lot of women say things like, that respect should be earned. He
True.
needs to earn my respect.
True, but here's what I think a man actually wants. Rather than thinking of it as disrespect, I think what a man wants is, I guess we call it respect 2.0. He wants to be admired. He wants to be looked up to by
And
his
I
wife.
think that
and I don't mean looked up to as in like she's below him.
Right.
I just think he wants her to admire him
Yeah,
in
yeah.
some way, shape, or form, to think highly of him.
Think highly of him.
And that comes across in a certain way. And of course, the worst thing that you could do is like, embarrass your husband in front of his friends or in front of company or something like that. That's what I think comes to women's minds or wives' minds all the time, which is a form of disrespect. But the reason it's a form of disrespect that a man wouldn't want is because it represents you not thinking highly of me enough to talk nicely to me in front of people.
Yeah. It's
You know
about,
what I'm saying?
you're right.
It's about admiration.
It
That's
is.
what it really is for
And
me.
I think that it goes back to what I was saying, how some women feel like, well, I'm not going to admire you if you don't give me anything to admire you about. If if you aren't even able to, and I'm just using these because these are things we hear.
These are real life
This
examples.
is real life examples.
Right.
You can't keep a job,
Right.
but you want me to admire you. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I do.
Or you can't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And you can't take care. When
Right.
you say you're gonna go pick up kid from school, you're not there.
You're always late.
Or you don't show up.
Right.
You don't keep
and
your
I got
word.
to remind you, and you should know that on your own and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I was like, what am I admiring?
Right. And I think a lot of women, for us, it's like our idea of admiring a man
Mm-hmm.
and seeing him as someone I look up to.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be that there's a reason why I do this.
Right.
Not, not I'm going to admire you just because you're a man. Mm-hmm. Which I think some men feel like
right. I think you're right about
that should be the case.
So here's the thing. I actually, it's funny because I think differently about this. It's kind of
Tell
weird.
me what you're thinking. Tell me what you feel like it should be.
I would say that the attitude of the average woman toward the average man should be exactly what you said. I ain't admiring nothing that ain't there. I think that's fine.
Yes.
Because I don't think there's an obligation for women to have to admire men just because they're men.
Exactly.
I think that's garbage.
Exactly.
So I actually agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think something changes when you get married.
Yes.
There's a different thing there. Now it's not about really my manhood. It's actually the fact that we're one.
Yeah.
We are coming together as one flesh. There is a level of obligation that we have towards each other now that's different from before. We want to make sure that we are finding ways to allow each other to feel whole and to feel the things that you would feel in a relationship that is marriage that aren't necessarily necessary when we're just dating or if we just know each other or whatever. So I guess what I'm saying is I go overboard as a husband to do things for my wife that I would never do for a regular woman. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think comes with being married.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here's how I would say it. I would say it this way. If wives are willing to give their husbands respect and admiration before they actually do whatever it is that needs to be respected, I actually think that the husband will be motivated to actually live up to the thing that you're already respecting me for. And I think that's hard for a person to do, but I think the principle is and I think it's a man thing.
Okay.
When I was growing up, my parents, and my dad specifically, treated me like I was older than I actually was. He would actually allow me to do things that a bigger boy could do that I really shouldn't have been able to do at my age. At like age 11 or age 10 or age 9, I'm going to the store on my bike to buy stuff. I have to cross 2 streets, like this big, I don't know what you call it, a thoroughfare, this big, almost highway looking thing to get to the store and come back. My brother and I would do it together. I actually feel like Dad allowing us to do that and not coddling us was giving us credit for being men before we actually were. And I feel like somehow knowing that's what they were doing made us step up and be what it was they were giving us credit for.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I think that's hard to do.
So you are saying this as when you're raising boys and you are teaching them to be men. So I think for women,
I guess what I'm saying is that's a man thing. There's something about giving us credit and us stepping into it that helps us.
And I think for wives, first of all, if you are a wife, right? I think I would think that you already have an admiration for him to even marry him. That's what I would think.
Hopefully.
I would think that.
Yes.
I would think that there's some form of respect or admiration.
So that you could at least find to say.
Of course.
Yes.
Before you say I do to somebody, right? So I feel like that's already there.
Yes.
I don't think that I should be I don't think it needs to be I don't think it works as well if I'm married to you and I say I say, well, I'm going to admire him, even though I really don't. I'm going to admire him so that he can do things so that he's admirable.
I think you should find something that you already admire about him and focus on that.
But are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm saying I already admire him.
Okay.
If I'm married to you, there's something that I admire, look up. There's a respect there.
I would hope so.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think that, and I know we need to take a break right now, but I'm not done. I need to respond to this because you said a long thing. I need to be able to respond to that.
That sounds good. We'll do it as soon as we come back from the break. In fact, I have another question I want to ask you about men and women too.
All right.
So come back from the break and you can definitely respond really long to this.
You are listening to the Lance J Radio Network.
Paragon 7 Studios.
Paragon 7 Studios, Lance J Radio Network. Back at you, John and April. Some of y'all came back just so you could hear April fry me on this topic of respect.
Oh my goodness.
So tell me what you want to say. Give me more on that thing that you're saying. What is it that you took issue with just now, and where you're trying to go? You're saying you don't think a wife should be obligated to have to.
I'm not here to raise you.
And
I'm not trying to be like that.
And I'm not suggesting that.
I know you're not, but
Yeah.
it just, this idea of, I'm going to, respect you, admire you, even though you have not done anything to make, but I'm gonna do it so that you can do something. I just feel like if I'm married to you, there is something that there should have already been an admiration there, right? That's just how I feel. And I feel like what happens, babe, I feel like in some marriages, the husband, if you're talking about, we're just talking about men needing respect right now.
Right.
May actually not do some of the things that they used to do, or they fall back. They actually disappoint you because they
Don't
they
come through like they were
aren't coming
supposed to.
through. They're not
Yes.
keeping their word. They're not paying the bills. They're not keeping a job. But you started off where there was a job kept. There were bills being paid. And then it turns, for whatever reason, stress comes in, life comes in, and now it's like, oh man, he's not paying the bills. What happened? He didn't pay this bill. Now we're in this, or he lost money trying to do something, or he said he was going to be in charge of this for our home, and he's fallen, in that area. And so it's like, I don't think that you have to lose respect all the way, but I do believe that just out of thinking that you thought you knew this person, you thought you knew what they were going to do based on what you married, and then they don't, you can be disappointed and you can lose a little bit I think you can lose some respect. So if you're talking
saying
about,
that's okay.
I'm not saying you can. I'm not saying that's okay. It isn't
Right.
okay. You don't
Right.
want that to happen. Of
Right,
course
right,
not.
right,
But
right,
I'm
right.
saying I think that's what happens. I think that
I agree with that.
I think that respect is lost based on what ends up happening in the marriage. And
Yes.
I should not have to now respect you for something that you really don't. I believe in not disrespecting. I do believe that you.
Okay.
So we're talking about two different things here.
Okay.
Because I don't think that when you say a lot of women are trying not to disrespect, I think that you're right. We shouldn't talk down about each other in public, and I don't feel like we should disrespect each other in the way and what we say and how we say it. You need
Yes.
to be respectful and all that.
Right.
So that's a different kind of respect.
Right.
Okay, we're talking about the next level. So that's a beginning level respect, respecting you as a person.
Just
and
basic respect that you would
basic
do to
respect.
anybody that you
exactly
just regular people.
Yes, I'm
not even
trying-
your
I'm-
husband.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to be cursing at you.
You're
I'm
just
not
a
going to be
person-
calling you
yeah,
names. I'm
yeah.
not, because I respect you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
But
an
then you
attribute of a person that has integrity. We just gonna respect
Exactly.
people
And
in
if you
general.
say
Yeah.
respect 2.0, you're moving to admiration.
Right.
I admire you.
Right.
I admire you for reasons. Like things you do make me admire you. The fact that you keep your word, the fact that I can depend on you. So I can't depend on you anymore, but you want the admiration to stay?
Okay, well, here's-
I mean, that's a little bit, babe. That's
Here's my question then.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're
Okay.
saying, but what it really comes down to, in my opinion now, is technically what you're saying is that certain things are not going to be there unless you act right. And so here,
not act right. I'm not saying that mistakes can't be made. I'm talking about listen. I'm being real.
of course you are.
And what I'm being real
let
about
me be
is
real.
even though I love you, I respect you and everything, that doesn't mean that something happens to my respect factor if you are constantly disappointing me in certain areas.
I agree
I'm
with
not
that.
saying that you want that to happen.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
But I'm saying I believe that it can naturally go down.
I agree.
Unintentionally.
Agreed.
Because of behavior. So
I
it ain't
agree.
about acting right.
So here,
don't change it.
No,
Don't
here-
try
here-
to.
No, here's what I'm saying though. Here's what I'm really saying though, because if you really play it out, that does come into play at some point. Here's what I'm saying. Let's take us, for instance, going through some kind of difficulty in our lives, and maybe your attitude towards me changes, and now you're not as nice as you usually are. Do you want me to basically stop showing you love because you're no longer as lovable as you used to be? Or would you like me to fight through that thing and figure out a way to keep on loving you even though you've changed dramatically?
Yes, but this is
Yes,
what? I
what?
said.
Yes,
no,
yes,
no,
but?
no, no,
Yes,
no, no,
but?
no. I didn't say, but that's why I made it clear that I said you will not. I would never say disrespect him. You see what I'm saying?
Here's what I'm
'Cause
saying.
you just said
That's
not
perfect.
loving you anymore.
That's perfect. I'm
So
saying.
you
I'm
won't
saying. Do you
disrespect.
hold on? Do you only want the basic love from me that I give to every other person? Or do you want my love to be that next level love that I've been giving you for the
Of
last 22 years?
course.
Okay, so what I'm saying is,
But I'm
what I'm saying is
talking
the advice.
about-
Hold on, the advice that we would give to a person who a person who is in a relationship with someone where things changed and now the person becomes bitter or something like that. We're going to tell that husband he needs to find a way to continue to love his wife at the level he was loving her before. And we teach them that when he loves her in that way, it's going to motivate her to actually respond the way she used to respond, which was in a more loving way.
That's
now,
true.
and I think the same thing is true with men. And that's all I'm really talking about.
Okay.
I'm saying the kind of respect that the wife
We were
needs
talking.
to give
We were
to her
talking
husband.
differently here.
We were, but I'm saying
I
the
didn't
kind of
get that
the
from
kind
you
of
when you
respect
said
that
what
I
you
think
said.
the wife and I think what threw you off is the fact that I used the illustration of me as a boy growing up. I was just trying to talk about something that is sort of innately in most men.
Okay.
Which is when you give us credit for something, we tend to step up to that. And I think what a natural tendency for people to do in general, and sometimes wives, is to focus on the negative about their husband, when in fact, if they maybe talked more about the positive stuff they were doing that they liked, the husband might actually step up even more and get the hint, hey, my wife hasn't complimented me on this one thing that I keep messing up on. You see what I'm saying? And maybe he would actually turn in and start stepping up. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying I think in marriage is different. We should be giving each other respect, and we're going to get to each other in a second. We should be giving each other respect, even in situations where a person isn't necessarily as respectable as they once were. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think I was thinking of it as that even though I'm going to respect you, that doesn't mean I haven't lost respect because of a situation.
I agree with that.
That's all I was saying.
Wholeheartedly.
I was saying
and
that.
I think that even though I'm going to continue to love you and say I'm going to make sure I'm committed to that, doesn't mean that I feel the same warm fuzzies from you because this situation has changed something. But I think I should still be trying my best.
I think women want respect as well. They want.
So let's get to that, because that's my question. I want to know, we actually have this thing where we always hear that husbands need respect. Does that mean that wives don't need respect?
No, I believe wives do need respect, and I think it looks different. Okay, it's not the same.
Okay.
I feel like, I think women, when we talk about respect, I feel like, you respect me so much that, you treat me like a queen. It's the way I'm treated. Do you treat me with respect? You know what I'm saying? Because, I feel like some women feel like they're not treated with respect when their husbands may be, I've seen husbands calling their wives a B.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
To me, that's not respecting her.
Not at all. And that's completely...
that's like a disrespect to the core for me, I would say.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I feel like again, the way you're treating me, are you treating me like I'm just some girl
right
on the street
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
or just some, and so if that, I feel like there is a respect issue there when it comes to that. So I'm not saying, let's make it clear. I think there was some misunderstanding in this conversation somewhere, because
Okay.
I'm not saying that you should not respect him anyhow. I'm saying I can see how respect
You can see the
is
reality
lost.
of how respect can be lost.
And I can see how
Yes.
respect is lost for a man with a woman. Now, love to me, when you use love as an example, I feel like love is not, we're going to love each other no matter what.
Correct.
I feel like respect is something else because respect is, I feel like when you said admiration or whatever, I feel like, that could unintentionally, I might have less respect for you because I didn't know you would do A, B, and C. I didn't think you would do that. So I lost a little bit of respect. I think it can be same for a wife. I thought that you would, do this, that, and the other. I lost a little respect in that area. And so I'm not that you can't gain it back, but the love is always going to be there. The love is what makes it so that I'm going to treat you with respect regardless of the fact that I've lost a little respect. The love is what makes me still treat you in a respectful way, to still treat you like I have the utmost respect, even though I have lost. Now, communication needs to happen within there so that I can let you know, listen, some things have happened and I lost a little respect in this area.
Right.
So communication.
And you're saying love would even motivate me to communicate with you that.
That's right.
That one
love would even do that.
Right.
So I feel like love and respect is a little bit different there when you're talking about. So when you use love as an example, I just felt like that's not what I'm.
I don't think they're as different as you think, though. So I think it's the way we think of them. I think I see love through the prism of respect.
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And so-
I
and
get
so
it. That's why I said the respect will always be there.
Right. So for a man,
You know what I'm saying? Just like the love will always be there.
Right.
But I am never going to, I feel like I would not say I've lost love. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like there could be a situation where I lost respect. Because I feel like respect is more like, when you admire someone, it's because of the things that they do.
So we've actually heard that multiple times.
Do you hear me?
I do.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, but we've heard multiple times from different couples that they've lost love for each other.
That's true.
That they still love each other,
but they've lost the intimate love.
Correct. Like the level of intimacy they used to have made their love up here, and now they still love each other, but they've lost some love.
Yes, and
So I
I'm
do
not
think
saying
that's
love can't be lost. I was
Okay.
talking about me and you. Like, I feel like...
Yes.
But I feel like...
I guess what I'm saying is that's where it's the same to me as respect. I think there are levels.
I guess you're right.
There's
Because I
this-
guess you could lose love for someone in
Yes.
that area if you did something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Something
That's true.
that felt like a
That felt like a
betrayal,
betrayal.
or something that felt like you would never do that, and all of a
And
sudden
then
you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I think they're more
But
similar
John,
than you
it's the
think.
same. Yeah, I think you're right. You've changed me on that one. That's true. But the way that you...
Team John.
No, but the way that you explained it earlier...
It wasn't good. You're
No,
right.
it
You're
wasn't good. And but I
And,
agree.
and let's be
agree.
honest with this. I'm glad you're saying these things because I definitely feel like most wives who are out there are dealing with the realities of their husbands wanting them to still be respected, even though their husband's behavior has changed so dramatically, and they say, well, they can't understand it. Now, we understand what the requirement is, but honestly, that's like a up here kind of requirement. Human nature dictates that if you keep doing something over and over again, it's going to make me be like, man, I'm losing a little respect. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. That is the
And
reality.
that's what I said. I'm not talking about a mistake here and there.
Right.
Where you're consistently
You're talking about
now.
the consistent thing
I
that's
can't
happening all the
depend
time.
on you.
Right.
I can't
Yes.
depend on what you say you're going
Right.
to do.
Right.
After a while, I think the respect will diminish a bit.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
definitely
saying? And then,
think
and
that's
if you
true.
keep doing it, I think it'll keep happening.
And
so,
I think that makes sense.
yeah.
So we actually have a word of the day today that's actually words of the day.
And we actually used one of them multiple times.
Yes, we did. We said it
By
like from the
accident.
very beginning. I think
didn't
I
mean to
started
do
off by
that.
saying
You
I forgot.
did.
I forgot it was the word of the day till we scrolled down on the page a little bit.
Okay, so
my word of the day.
go ahead, since
is
you were saying this.
My word of the day is admiration, which you guys heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that this is the way that men view respect. And that is something regarded as impressive or worthy of respect.
Mm-hmm.
So your man wants to feel like you impress him in some way
Mm.
and that he's worthy of your respect. So that's admiration. What's your word?
My word is approval. Okay.
Yeah.
The belief that someone or something is good or acceptable. I think that, women want your approval.
And so respect looks to you like the way that I treat you and that I treat you as something that is
Yeah.
good and acceptable to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's such a thin line there, but I do believe that, am I I've heard people say, am I good enough? You know, that kind of thing. Like, I think women go through that because I think physically, especially, because it's just a different with men and women when it comes to aging and the things that we go through. It's like, am I good enough physically for you when you got all these women out here who, you know, are looking good and stuff, and you're like, man, I think that's a part of it too. And you know, women might not want to admit that, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I think
it becomes truer as you become less confident based on what's changing.
listen, it's sad, but it's true that appearance thing for women, man, and I think it's because society has really put a big burden on women when it comes to how they have to stay looking young.
Well, I think it's the same for us as men. As we get older and we can't do the same things, the things that we attached to what we thought was manliness, we start becoming more self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
And if our wives still treat us with admiration, so that even though I can't dunk anymore,
Exactly.
when we first started dating, I could.
Yeah.
I could dunk like crazy.
Right.
Now I can't.
Right.
I'm assuming you're going to think I'm less of a man. But when you admire me still, it makes me feel like I'm still a man,
Yeah.
even though I can't do the things I used to be able to do. You know
And
what
I
I'm saying?
think that we as wives should admire our husbands, but I also think that we should both
Yes.
should be doing the things that allow for admiration and respect and those things, because I mean
And approval.
it's hard to get that if you are not doing anything.
True.
It comes with action. I mean, I'm talking about the reality of it.
Right.
Okay? That's it. You might say, yeah, we should continue to give respect no matter what. But the reality is, if you're not doing things that are respectable or
gonna
that
be hard
can
to do
give
that.
me a reason to admire you,
Right.
it's going to be harder.
Right. That's true.
It's going to be harder.
So
Even though I think
men,
we
you
should
got to
still,
step it up.
We should still give it to it. And women too. Like, we have to be, you know, we want approval. Well, you have to, and I don't want to say we want approval necessarily, but I
You
mean,
do. You want
we
approval
do.
from your man.
I think we all do.
Yeah,
I think
but I'm
we
saying
want approval from each other.
That's true. But
We do.
I don't think I care about approval, but I definitely want admiration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, that feels like approval.
The belief that someone or something is good or acceptable.
I don't care about that. But I do care about you think I'm impressive and worth your respect.
Yeah. I want to be
Anyway.
more than acceptable, though.
You want to be the queen.
Exactly.
Well, I agree with that. We'll just change that word in there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, see y'all next time.
All right, guys.
Bye.